Hey, folks, guess what? Today, June 1st, is finally the first day of snapper season, and I don't think anybody's going to be out today. The kind of wind and rain and everything else we've been having, it's just too bad that we had to have such an opening kind of day, especially with such a short season, but that seems to be kind of typical with what National Marine Fisheries Service sets up to do for us. They always figure out a way to make sure that even though we have whatever days we have, we only get to fish about half of them because of weather, and they don't give them back again. I think that's just criminal, but that's only my opinion. And of course, you can see the doggies are here and doing their usual thing, playing cat dog again. That's what they usually do. Gracie right here and Heidi right here. And we're all so happy to be back here. Of course, as you know, had some medical issues, but we're still on this side of the grass, and that's always the best thing we can do. Got to take a look at our tides and see what's happening, because we're coming right off the full moon now. We're still getting some good tides. And I went fishing last Saturday with Memorial Day with one of my friends. Actually, my wife Pat went, and Noel Stafford and my friend Mal Bankhead, and we went out on an inshore wreck about 5 miles off. And believe it or not, the only thing we could catch were 5-pound, 6-pound red snapper. And of course we had to throw them all back, and luckily Flipper was around, but he didn't grab any of them, and he didn't take any of them off our line. Can't figure out what happened. Maybe he was already full from some others, but it was just one after another. I did manage to catch a couple of maybe 3 or 4 pound rudder jacks, so we at least had something for dinner. But it's going to be a fantastic snapper season whenever we do get some good weather to go out and start fishing for them. Now, the other thing we did was we trolled quite a bit for king mackerel and never had a single hit. But all the reports I've been getting is that the bait seems to be gone, the cigar minnows, and once they leave, the mackerel leave. Didn't see any of those big giant bluefish either, but I'm sure they're still around because they don't leave that fast. But it just always goes to prove, if you want to catch them, you got to be out there on the water and try to get them. But with this weather we're having, it looks like it's going to be a while before we have a chance to really go back out and look for them. Talked to a good friend the other day also about going out and doing some flounder fishing over around the Navy base and some of those areas, finding some nice Granville Howard. Granville, of course, does a lot of boat work and metal work. He was catching a bunch of flounder on DOA and gulp shrimp. So they're here. It's just a matter of being where they are when they are. Basically, we've been having pretty good weather. Now, we were down here at the Panama City Marina, one of my favorite places, and believe it or not, we just happened to, we talked with our good friend Bill Lloyd, who's been the manager for many years, and he's retiring. And we also got a guy that just happened to show up, putting his boat in, and that's our commissioner, County Commissioner George Gainer. So I'm going to be surrounded by a lot of talent today. Now, you know I do all the cooking in our household because Pat does all the heavy lifting, teaching blind children in 6 small counties now. With the end of year, it is just driving her crazy because of all the IEPs, individual education plans she has to have for all these kids, plus all the final wrap-ups and that kind of stuff. And so she's just waiting for school to get out. And of course, my friend Noel Stafford, we fished a lot. He teaches 5th grade over at Lynn Haven Elementary, and so we're looking forward to some fishing. But as I say, she does all the heavy lifting. I do all the cooking, all the grocery shopping. And one place, this week we had something every single day from Tanya's garden, including roasty vegetables, zucchini, yellow squash, green beans, you name it. All the fresh greens, everything you can think of, strawberries, whatever it is. Tanya's garden, it's all so good and so fresh, it's like going to the farm and picking it right off the vine. Bananas, 39 cents a pound. And of course, if you get there late in the afternoon, you'll see the crazy peacock running around. Right there across the street from Sowell Tractor, just before you get to Haney Vocational School, Tanya's Garden. Tell her we sent you in there and I'll appreciate it. And of course, I still haven't picked up my new 17-foot square back canoe with the 2-horsepower Johnson motor and the trailer that AMW Trailers has built for me for it. But AMW's had a little bit of experience since they've been building trailers since the 1950s, and of course they're located in Millville, right next to the new Millville Piggly Wiggly that's waiting to open. So drop in and see them if you need trailer parts, if you need a new trailer, if you need some repairs or whatever it is. Sometimes there's a Dumbo like me that forgets to keep the hubs greased, and guess what? Launching a boat, the wheel fell off right in the launching ramp. Had to put the boat in, have Fleming come and pick up the trailer and take it over there. So those kind of things can happen. But we're going to have a good retirement party here today for our friend Bill Lloyd. And then later we're going to be doing some fishing on the Arctic North Star. And of course they're running the half-day trips. Captain Anderson's is the boat. The Captain Anderson is the boat that runs the all-day trips. That's 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then if you want to go on a half-day, it's the Arctic North Star with Jerry Anderson, and he goes out at 7 in the morning, comes back at noontime, out again at 1, and comes back at 5. So, and they're bound to bring in a lot of snapper now because they're just all over. We're going to have one of the best years we've ever had. So just stay with us and see what's coming up. And of course we got the doggies, Heidi and Gracie. Everybody loves to see the doggies. So stay with us, and after this break we will be right back.
For everything you need on or off the water, visit the Panama City and St. Andrews Marinas. Both locations provide you with easy access boat slips, ramps, fuel, bait, and tackle. Come visit our ship stores and see our unique nautical gifts and clothing, or just relax with a cool drink and grab a snack while watching the boats come in.
Don't forget that Mariner on your shopping list. Come by and see our unique nautical gifts, cards, and clothing at Panama City or St. Andrews Marina. Call 872-7272 for more information.
Meet Henson Hindenburg, king of the road at Baytown Tire, 2609 West 15th Street, just before the curve. For 20 years, he's taken care of your cars, trucks, and commercial vehicles. Baytown Tire carries tires including Michelin, Yokohama, BF Goodrich, and Uniroyal. A new set gets free rotation every 6 months. Alignment is done on the latest digital equipment, and his diagnostic can read all your computer info for proper repairs. All his service folks are ASE certified. Give him a call today at 873-8900.
Hi folks, Larry Lee here at Coin and Bullion Reserves. The Swiss government has requested that the Federal Reserve return to it all of the gold bullion which it has long had deposited at Fort Knox. Do they know something you and I don't? Well, I think I do know. And I think it may be time for you to consider buying some gold and silver too. And no one will sell you gold and silver cheaper than Coin and Bullion Reserves. And you can take that to the bank.
Coin and Bullion Reserves.
When was the last time you took a few minutes out of your busy schedule to enjoy the simple things? The wide open spaces, the uncharted territory, the moments that seem to stick with you for a lifetime. Well, what are you waiting for? Half hitch. Get out there.
Need a storage shed, pole barn, or garage? Who do you call? Two-time site-built buildings. They come completely prefabbed with aluminum siding and 3/4-inch floors. Constructed on your property by James McConnell and his crew. With no middleman, his prices is lower, and with easy payment terms. Here's my 12-foot by 20-foot shed that went through a 3-foot gate and anchored like a mobile home. He's been building here for 15 years. See the samples at 3822 Highway 98 in Springfield, and call today at 850-257-5729. When you want your lawn to go from this to this, you need to call Leroy Dennis and his helper Bill Grimes. They can do it in one day. Not only that, but Leroy offers discounts to seniors and active and former military. He and his partner can handle any commercial jobs. Don't wait to give them a call at 358-6696. Guess what? If you aren't satisfied, I'll pay for it myself. Don't delay. Call the experts now and look great tomorrow. Well, it's not often I get seated and exposed to such extinguished people as we have this morning. Our County Commissioner, George Gaynor. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Jim. I'm sure of that.
And you've been you just come in off your boat?
No, I just came down to check on my boat.
Okay. And of course, over here is Bill Lloyd, who's the harbor master for Panama City Marina and St. Andrews Marina, retiring this month.
Good morning, Jim. Yeah, I am. Been here almost 8 years now, and you know, it's a 7-day-a-week job, and I'm old enough where I don't appreciate 7 days a week anymore. But we've got a good replacement coming. New man's supposed to be here in town on the 15th, and I'm assuming that they'll get him working by the 18th. You know how the city is. Our work week starts on a Tuesday, believe it or not.
And you'll be working with him for
I will.
to the end of the month?
Yes, my last day is officially July 8th.
Okay.
You know, this guy is, he's talented and he's good and he's experienced, so I'm going to get him familiar with the city systems and introduce him around and everything, and then I might go fishing and let him call me if he needs me.
Well, you might want to call me and go fishing.
That could be a plan too.
All right, either my boat or your boat.
There you go. There you go.
You've got a sailboat and you also have a power boat, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a 19-foot Sea Hunt, and of course I've got my 35.5 sailboat.
And you're getting ready to open up a new business.
Well, we're talking about it. We formed the company, and then my better half got a job working at the state full time. So that's kind of in limbo, but it's a definite possibility. We're probably going to wait and let me get out and get around a little bit, and then go from there.
Well, is it floating breakfast? Is that what it is?
Yeah, sort of. We're talking about a boat and bedding, or bed and boating, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, where, you know, we've got that old house over in St. Andrews, that the stagecoach house, and the upper floor is a separate living unit. So we were talking about, you know, you stay with us 2 nights and we'll give you 4 hours out on the water. You stay 3 nights and we'll give you 2 4 hours out on the water. And if you end up going fishing or something, you want to do a sunset sail, we'll do that a la carte. So we'll see. I'm not guaranteeing that's going to get going yet. It depends on how hard I want to work.
Well, and the other thing is, we don't have any bed and breakfast downtown, do we? Or do we?
There is one bed and breakfast in St. Andrews, 12th and Drake, I think, somewhere in that area. They've got one room.
So we do have one.
We do.
All right, and switching over to the other side, Commissioner Gaynor, did you have any hands in helping replace the replacement here for our friend Bill?
Listen, there will be no replacement for Bill. He has been a blessing to this marina, and everybody that's had a boat here that's came through appreciate his dedication and his hard work here. Like he says, he has been here 8 days a week, and when he goes home, he's not really at home, because if that phone rings, he'd be back down here in 10 minutes. So
I was going to say the same thing. His a 24/7 job.
Absolutely, and he has done it masterfully, and if you have a little problem down here, he's always there to help you. He has been able to keep this whole marina running smoother than it ever has in my lifetime, and we just all appreciate the fine job that he's done, and his replacement won't be here because there won't be a replacement for Bill. He's done a great job, and we certainly hope we got a good one, because he's got a tough act to follow.
You got that right, and I tell you what, the way this store operates too, both of them, you know, but people don't realize the connection between the city marina and St. Andrews Marina. And of course, to just mix the water up a little bit more, now we got the city getting in the fight with moving the ice plant. At least you don't have to get involved with that.
He might have picked the right time to retire, but for those of us who will still be around, he'll always be a part of the marine effort in Panama City. He loves the water so much that he's still a go-to guy, and he probably will be as long as he'll let himself.
Well, now, speaking of you and your family, I've been following some of this on the history of Panama City, the 100-year history, and it seems to me that the Gaynors were here a long time ago. Is that your family?
That's my family. My great-granddaddy came through here in about 1814 and decided that he liked Econfina, and he went on with Jackson to Tallahassee, and when Jackson became the regional governor, then he sent him back over here as an Indian agent and a mathematician and surveyor here for what was then Washington County, which he named Washington County after where he had been raised up in Thompson, Georgia, and that was Washington County up there. So he came from there to here, and I'm glad he did, because I love Panama City and everything about it.
Well, you know, it sort of like follows my great-great-grandfather's history, who came to this little town in central Mississippi in 1829 from Ireland. He had been studying for the priesthood, and of course he was Catholic. All my relatives were, and Catholics weren't thought much of over there in those days. But he was the most educated man in town, and in 1839 he started the first high school. And then 1939 they built a new one, and I lived in the house across the street from it. And of course everybody knew the family, and so we, you know, but I tell you, when I left Mississippi, I never looked in the rearview mirror. My mother had moved over here many years ago, and she was the organist at St. Dominic's Church when it was on Harrison Avenue.
Yeah.
And when I'd visit her, I loved Panama City, and when I left New England, I'd lived up there 30 years. In 1983, I came down here, and I've loved Panama City ever since. It's my home.
Well, and Panama City loves you, Jim. You've done a wonderful job in promoting the water and fishing, and just as Bill has. And I hope we can keep that alive for our children and our grandchildren, because it's a legacy that we should never ever forget and never take advantage of. I mean, just never take it for granted, because it's not always going to be here if people like y'all don't make sure that it is.
And you know, that's one of the blessings that I've had, and I'm going to speak to Bill about it for him. All my life, I have been able to virtually, from graduating high school in 1950, I got first published in 1950 in the Perkinston Junior College newspaper, and I've been involved in the outdoor publication and outdoor business all my life, and you've been involved in the water and everything most of yours, have you, Bill?
Yes, pretty much. We moved down to Fairhope, Alabama in 1957 or 58, and so Fairhope, Gulfport, Mississippi, Fort Myers. Yeah, been around the water a long time.
Isn't it a blessing to be able to make a living doing what you love to do?
Yeah, it is. Just, you know, being on the water. I mean, when I was a kid up in North Mississippi, man, my dream was to be on the water and have a boat and just enjoy the coastal lifestyle.
You're not leaving, right?
So yeah, it is a blessing to be able to do that.
Well, it certainly has been for me, and of course, you know, as I say, we were brought up in central Mississippi, and then in the 1945, after my great-grandmother died, my mother and I moved to Gulfport, and you've spent some time in Gulfport.
Yeah.
And Perkinston.
I guess I must have followed you around. Didn't know it, but I did. Yep. Gulfport and Perkinston.
Perkinston Junior College, that's where we both went.
Yep.
Well, I got a classier roommate. Mine was Fred Hayes, the Apollo 13 astronaut.
Yeah, and mine were just a bunch of old Mississippi rednecks.
All right, well, folks, listen, it's such a pleasure to be down and have a chance to say so long to Bill. Have a great new life, and we're going to be in touch, because you're not that far down the street from me.
No, I'm not. We live in the same neighborhood, too. I guess I'm still following you around.
That's true. So you stay with us, because after this break, we'll be back and do some fishing on the Arctic North Star.
Hi folks, Larry Lee here at Coin and Bullion Reserves. The Swiss government has requested that the Federal Reserve return to it all of the gold bullion which it has long had deposited at Fort Knox. Do they know something you and I don't? Well, I think I do know. And I think it may be time for you to consider buying some gold and silver too. And no one will sell you gold and silver cheaper than Coin and Bullion Reserves. And you can take that to the bank.
Coin and Bullion Reserves.
Meet Henson Hindenburg, king of the road at Baytown Tire, 2609 West 15th Street, just before the curve. For 20 years, he's taken care of your cars, trucks, and commercial vehicles. Baytown Tire carries tires including Michelin, Yokohama, BF Goodrich, and Uniroyal. A new set gets free rotation every 6 months. Alignment is done on the latest digital equipment, and his diagnostic can read all your computer info for proper repairs. All his service folks are ASE certified. Give him a call today at 873-8900.
The
Captain Anderson makes fishing a breeze. There's a galley on board, and your comfortable trip is all-inclusive. Rod, reel, tackle, bait, and your fishing license. The traditional all-day trip from 7 to 5 p.m. Come aboard the Captain Anderson for a relaxing day of bottom fishing. There's plenty of room, so bring the whole family. It's a whopping big adventure, and that's no fishtail. The Captain Anderson is located at Captain Anderson's Marina, where the fish are always biting and the kids are always smiling. Please call for cruise schedules. When was the last time you took a few minutes out of your busy schedule to enjoy the simple things? The wide open spaces, the uncharted territory, the moments that seem to stick with you for a lifetime. Well, what are you waiting for? Half hitch. Get out there.
Need a storage shed, pole barn, or garage? Who do you call? Two-time site-built buildings. They come completely prefabbed with aluminum siding and 3/4-inch floors. Constructed on your property by James McConnell and his crew. With no middleman, his prices is lower, and with easy payment terms. Here's my 12-foot by 20-foot shed that went through a 3-foot gate and anchored like a mobile home. He's been building here for 15 years. See the samples at 3822 Highway 98 in Springfield, and call today at 850-257-5729. When you want your lawn to go from this to this, you need to call Leroy Dennis and his helper Bill Grimes. They can do it in one day. Not only that, but Leroy offers discounts to seniors and active and former military. He and his partner can handle any commercial jobs. Don't wait to give them a call at 358-6696. Guess what? If you aren't satisfied, I'll pay for it myself. Don't delay. Call the experts now and look great tomorrow. Well, I told you we're going to have a little bit of fishing coming up, and if you don't make it out on the full day Captain Anderson, try a half day on the Arctic North Star, because it is such a fun boat to go on for a half day. You leave at 7 in the morning, get back there at noontime, and Jerry Anderson will definitely put you on the fish, 2 snapper per person. And when you're all done, if you want your fish clean, take them right in there and get them cleaned at the fish house, because it's so much easier to go home with a cooler full of fillets and all set to go than worry about how you're going to get them cleaned when you get home. Thanks again, and so we appreciate you so much watching our show and supporting our sponsors and loving our doggies. Oh my gosh, this is the first time we've had them on for a while, but they haven't quit being the dog. Look at that. Gracie still wants to go to sleep. All right, folks. Stay with us. Henry Bankhead, that smells son. It's got something on. You got a fish on, Henry? Yeah, beeliner. Bring it on up. You got a fish. Benjamin's got one, I think. There you go. Oh, got a nice trigger. Nice big red grouper. That's a legal one too. Something coming over here. What do we got? Oh, a little beeliner. Okay, little white snapper. Right here. Get one in for me. Double. Little double hookup. There, the lad right here's got one. Hey, he's got a good one.
Hey, Lawrence, you got a loaded pole down here, buddy. Do what? You got a loaded pole right here. Right here, waiting on.
Here he comes. Go ahead on the other side of him, Nick. That'll work. Oh, we got a double. Let's get around so we can see you.
Right there, fish on.
All right. Look at me, guys. Oh, look at that. Nice, big. Turn around, miss. Turn around so you can be on TV. Get your fish. Coming in over here. Another young man. All right, swing him around here. Get your fish. Get it over here so I can see it on TV. Want to see it on TV? Guys, turn around here, buddy, with your fish. No, turn him around. Look at that. Look at me. Look at me. Was it fun?
All right.
Oh, that was a nice triggerfish you caught.
This one.
That's good. Little pump in there, Dad. Fish on.
No bite, no fish.
Got a fish over here.
You got what?
Got a fish on over here.
Come on, baby, get on that fish. Well, here comes your meat right now. White snapper. All right.
Huh?
Got a small one.
Got another small one coming on up here with Henry.
Just like before, guys, wrap right around the rails when you get them up. Guys.
Oh, we'll put him back for bait. I think I was going to be. He's pretty close, but we'll have to measure him. Young man up on the bow just got a little double catch on a couple of white snappers. You got a fish, Henry?
Thanks, Troy.
Got a fish on Henry?
I think so.
Is that it? Oh, wow. A duo, a duet.
You got it, Dad?
All right, thanks for watching. And next week we're going to have a great show. It'll be our first time in HD with Dr. Donovan, and he's the advanced technologies over there at Gulf Coast State College. And I've talked with him. He's got a phenomenal background and some really interesting things to see there. So always, always, we try to bring you the latest stuff up to date. Tight lines, folks.